Welcome back to Balance Basketball Academy, and I am Coach Jordan. I was a former college basketball player turned trainer, and today we're going to look at an ankle breaker breakdown featuring the one and only Kevin Durant. Why am I making this video? Well, I'm a Kevin Durant fan, but also, as everyone knows, he has moved once again. And, well, we got some more conversations to have about his championship hopes and his future. But mostly this video is about how Kevin Durant has played in the past and how he's been such a deadly ball handler, even at what is not listed, but technically probably his height, 6'11". So, without no further ado, we're going to get right into it. For those of you who are new, please like, subscribe. Yeah, we'll move on. Oh, I remember this one. Yeah. I remember that one. Okay, this one's like an iconic crossover because like most people would kill to have a highlight on their reel, much less like several of this caliber. We start at the top of the move with Kevin Durant making a very solid push cross into a drive. And his defender, you can see right here, has closed out pretty hard. He's left his left foot as the lead foot, which is a no-no because whenever you're a basketball player, you attack the lead foot because the defender will have a harder time recovering off of that lead foot attack. As opposed to if Kevin Durant had an attack to the left side, I believe this is Daniel Gafford, would have had a much easier time sliding with Durant because he would already have been in position to do so. You want to do what the defense doesn't want you to do. Okay, so that's what Kevin Durant does at the top of this move, which already puts Gafford in a really tough spot. He's in a retreat mode. Durant is fully running into this, so the defender's trying to turn his hips over. Durant, if you watch this move, go backwards a little bit. If you watch this move, Durant already wants to pull back as soon as he makes this first dribble because he's looking at probably these help side defenders on the inside, Hachimura, and then this defender right here that I cannot identify. And so he makes this pullback move, knowing that he has his defender way off balance. And then, frankly, it's just an unfortunate scenario. Once he does that, Kevin Durant's so good at getting into that pull-up really quick. He dribbles high, so that pull-up is always a threat because he can get it right to the pocket pretty quickly. And Gafford thinks, oh no, he's going to pull back, he's going to shoot again. With Kevin Durant, he can shoot the three ball, he can shoot the pull-up like nobody's business, so you have to be watching for that, and Gafford is basically jumping on every bite, or on every fake. Durant thinks about it with his shoulders, and Gafford literally just ends up doing the splits because his feet can't get enough traction. So he looks pretty dumb by the end of that move. We'll watch it all the way through in slow motion. Kevin Durant, push cross, pull back, fakes it, crossover, and then Gafford just maybe hits a wet spot or the edge of his shoe and can't recover. Nice. So we got that 1-2 step cross, 1-2 step cross, just boom and boom. But you'll notice, let's look at this view from a little closer. He's changing his pace, so slow, fast, boom, right into that shot. Really effective stuff. That's the kind of thing that you're looking for on those crossovers. It's not necessarily the wrong thing to do to have wide, long crossovers. You can do it, but you have to have control over the ball and you have to have control over your pace and your speed, which are basically the same thing. I just repeated myself, but you know what I mean. So he crosses over, Tolliver leaves a top foot right there, and his hand is extended, meaning that basically Tolliver either gets the steal or he gets blown by. That's the issue with reaching. A lot of times people use it as a last-ditch attempt to kind of nick the ball or get the ball, but they aren't in good position. So if they get crossed over, they're out of the picture. So that's not to say that reaching is necessarily bad. It just means that it's typically a last-ditch resort to get the ball back, and most of the time it ends up poorly in the ball handler like Kevin Durant. Crosses over, and he gets enough space. Ooh. There's that fake again. We have Giannis Antetokounmpo here. Giannis is in a position where he... Unfortunately with Giannis, he's in a position where his hands are down. He's not doing anything. The only thing Giannis can do is he can move his feet to keep his body in front of Kevin Durant. But what he should be doing is he should keep a hand shading over the ball. not so far that it can get a rip-through foul, but to where the point where he can actually react to Kevin Durant's shot. Right now he just has airplane arms, or even worse, it's like, I don't know what the analogy I would use is. His arms are down. He needs to have his arms at least out or up, you know, kind of shading Kevin Durant. He doesn't do that. And so when Kevin Durant makes a fake, Giannis is like, oh shoot, I gotta get my arms up, I gotta get up in the air. And by that time, Kevin Durant's already gone. Like, look at this frame. He's already gone. He's jumping up in the air. Giannis is already committed. And Durant's long gone. That's a dunk. All Kevin Durant does is a little inside out. Just does a little inside out crossover. He just keeps his hand over the ball, crosses over, and it looks like he's bringing the ball into a shooting pocket. And Giannis, because he's not in great position, and because it's Kevin Durant, he can shoot at any point in time, and you want to get on top of that, he ends up, you know, getting blown by. I believe the announcer said this player who is guarding Kevin Durant is called Jan Mahimi. If I mispronounced that name, I sincerely apologize. No disrespect. But he can't keep up with Kevin Durant this high up on the key. He just can't. So he gives a lead foot. This is like the worst thing you can do as a defender, is literally just stand sideways next to your offensive player. Do not do that. I'd rather have somebody back up 5 more feet and square up than have somebody get tight next to the ball handler and basically be perpendicular to them, because you'll get blown by anybody who knows what they're doing, or you'll foul them because you'll be blocking them. It's a lose-lose situation. Or they'll go in the direction you want them to, and then they'll drive by you, get into you, get a layup and a foul. It's a wide open lane. Don't do that. So he does that here. Kevin Durant crosses him over. Okay, now that the defender's backed up, Kevin Durant could shoot this 3, but this is a long defender. So he's gonna toy them a little more. Kevin Durant crosses over again because the defender, shifting spots, turning his hips, overcompensates the other direction, gives another lead foot, and then Kevin Durant takes advantage of that. And this guy, all he can seem to do is just go perpendicular to perpendicular to perpendicular to Kevin Durant, and he gets sliced and diced for it because he needs to be sliding side to side and trying to keep Kevin Durant in front of him as opposed to trying to turn in the direction Kevin Durant's going to be. This was more of a defensive thing than anything, because Kevin Durant just found bad defense and exploited it like any good offensive player would. Look at that. This is better defense. Cam is not a terrible defender. I think Cam's pretty solid at times. And he's against Kevin Durant. He does still have a slight lead foot. Kevin Durant knows how to read people's body and their feet. That is how he gets by people. On this crossover, he just punches it right through. It's a lower crossover for Durant, but it's also, again, just solid. He's dribbling it right outside of Cam's feet, and then Cam has to turn. By the time Cam turns his hips, Durant has about a foot of advantage as far as distance goes. And now that Cam's trying to overcompensate, Kevin Durant pump fakes, and just hits the shot. Easy shot. We'll see it all the way through. Nice low crossover, pump fake, boom. Oh, poor Drummond. Oh. Do I need to say anything more? Drummond's just not fast enough to keep up with Kevin Durant. It's really as simple as that, so yeah, next. Okay, I want to go into this because we've seen a couple videos of Kevin Durant now. We kind of know how he dribbles, we kind of know his style, and I want to talk about his specific style and how he dribbles the basketball, because it's unique. Kevin Durant does not handle the basketball like a lot of other guards do, because his body is different than most guards. That's just the way it is. So I'm just going to play some highlights and we'll just talk about it as we go, especially with this next one. So Kevin Durant has a tendency to dribble the ball really high. You can see that he's dribbling the ball pretty high. He's a 6'11" guy, and he's dribbling it like consistently at his waist and even a little bit like at his mid hip. I don't know if that makes any sense, but you know what I mean. He's dribbling it pretty high. He's dribbling it pretty loose. He brings the ball way out at times where he's doing crossover moves where he's all the way out. Here, look at how wide this crossover is. Like, he's bringing the ball way out in front of him. I'll keep letting the highlights play. He's dribbling high, he's dribbling wide. Look at that, another wide crossover. He's dribbling like nice and loosey-goosey. And you're thinking, how in the world does that work? Everybody that teaches ball handling is like, you got to dribble fast and tight, dot, 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 dot. And it's got to be, really controlled and awesome and contained. And then you look at some of the best ball handlers of all time. A very much smaller example of Kevin Durant would be an Allen Iverson. These are guys who are not dribbling the ball in conventional ways, but still they're super effective and their handles are something to be reckoned with. Why does it work? Well, okay, let's think about Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, again, is 6'11". He's long. He has the ability to shoot. He has a high set point and a high shot pocket. He can shoot from anywhere on the floor. And he also knows how to use his body, his shoulders, his hips, his feet really well to be able to sell his moves. He also has an excellent ability to change his pace. He has all these things. You stack them up and you're like, okay, how does he use this? Well, he's going to be able to dribble wide. Why? Because he can change his speed. And if you reach, the ball is so far out there because he's got such length, he can get it away from you pretty quickly and he can use his speed to drive by you. On top of that, just because I think that he dribbles loose does not mean that I think he lacks control. He's practiced this clearly, and his body is built for this sort of thing. On top of that, that high dribble, like he did against Giannis, always threatens to be right into a shot pocket because it's not very far. Like, he doesn't have that much room to travel. Kevin Durant has an unconventional handle, but that does not mean it is bad. It means that he is literally unstoppable because his handle is built for his body and his ability to play basketball and the skill set he has. Just because Kevin Durant doesn't dribble like Kemba Walker doesn't mean that his handle is bad. It's just different. He gets that ball right here. This is Derrick Jones Jr. It's just NBA trivia at this point. And he has an option. He can catch and rip. And in this case, he decides to fake that catch and rip. So he's ripping and he goes right into a crossover because Jones Jr. is coming over from his left side towards his right, meaning that driving right would be in the direction that Jones is already going. So he decides to actually go against that direction, gets an opening, makes one dribble after that initial move, one dribble to get to the cup. He goes, that's a one dribble from the 3-point line. Crossover, boom. One dribble. That's just because he's that athletic and that long, but that is something that any player should strive for. Limit the dribbles, get from point A to point B as fast as you can. Gives your defense a lot less time to react, and ultimately get a bucket. Okay, this is a good example. Capella is actually doing a really good job right here. I want you guys to watch this. This is solid. Okay, so Capella is giving a lead foot. He wants Kevin Durant to go left. Not ideal, but here's the deal. His hands are active, but they are not fouling. They are not reaching. They are not putting him in a position where he can get caught on a rip-through move. Look at this. He's got that hand up immediately. Kevin Durant, if you're going to shoot this jumper, you're going to have to shoot it over my outstretched hands. On top of that, I have another hand out here saying, come on over here. I'm still going to be able to defend you and move this hand over. He has active hands. This is really actually very good. Kevin Durant still scores it, but it's very good. Now, when Kevin Durant's crossing over, he's shading him. He's still keeping that hand up. He gets that hand back up. He's active with the hands. And then finally, when Kevin Durant does pull up, Capella's right there. The fact that Durant gets the shot off is just more of a miracle and a testament to Durant's skill than it is to Capella's lack of defense. Look at this defense. This guy's moving his feet, he's trying to stay in front, and he forces Kevin Durant to take one of the toughest shots in the game of basketball, a contested mid-range pull-up. That's really, really good. That's the kind of defense that needs to be present against somebody like a Kevin Durant. The problem is Kevin Durant will make it anyway, but I pointed to some other options where it's just like the defense is just not there. It's pretty bad. And that was not one of them. And we're back to bad defense again. Okay. So, Bam. Come on, buddy. You gotta do better. He's a decent distance from Kevin Durant. His feet are fine. But his hands are just... You might as well not have arms, dude. You might as well not have arms because you're not trying. You're not respecting Kevin Durant's three-pointer. If I'm a high-level three-point shooter, and somebody is playing defense on me, where they just have their arms just to their sides. See ya. Alright, classic example, you reach, I teach. Watch this, we're gonna go in slow-mo. Siakam's doing pretty well, staying in front. He reaches. He realized that he's gone too far over. He reaches. He has all of his weight on his right foot, when he should be trying to be a little bit more even keel and push off of that right foot, but he's just stuck in the mud. He reaches instead of actually trying to move, and by the time he tries to get back into the play, it's way too late. He's behind Kevin Durant. It's a miracle he didn't foul him, and that's it. So I'll see it one more time right here. Reach. Kevin Durant just makes a great move, noticing that the defender's weight has shifted in the other direction, and he goes in the other way. It's really easy. Really, really easy. Another one, I won't say much on this. Tobias Harris overcommits. Kevin Durant is making his crossover move because he notices Harris is overcommitting. Harris, in a last-ditch effort, reaches. Kevin Durant's crossover is too high, or excuse me, is too low for Harris's arm, because Kevin Durant can cross over low right there. And he gets a wide open three. He does it again. All right, we'll take a look at this again. So in this time, he's getting his defender moving downhill, then he likes to make that crossover in front of them. Because it's difficult to make a crossover when they're chest to chest with you, and you guys are only moving side to side. But if you're moving downhill and they have to follow you, they have to back up, meaning you have room for that crossover. You can actually make that move successfully. That's what he does right here. See? The hands are not in the picture because the guy's already sliding backwards, trying to catch up. It's perfect. And then Kevin Durant just pulls right up into his shot because he's got his space he needs. He likes pushing people downhill and then making that crossover, because then they have to change. They have to change in two different directions. They have to go downhill, and then they have to pick one direction or the other depending on which way Kevin Durant is now crossed over to. That downhill crossover right there is all he needs to get by his defender in this case. So Aminu doesn't stand a chance. Kevin Durant just does a push crossover. Aminu just reaches instead of sliding. It's a common problem. It's a common problem, but it's so tempting. It's so hard to train yourself out of it. And then Durant just heads by him. All he needs is that pushover. Just hop, hop, push cross, right to the rim. Let's look at this again. We're going to keep talking about this because it's really important. It's really effective. He gets Lonzo moving downhill right into a pull-up. So he moves Lonzo downhill, crossover, pull-up. Easy. It's so simple, but if you can get somebody moving in two directions at once, you're probably going to win. Because he's so long and athletic, I mentioned this earlier, he can get to the dribble, or he can get to the rim within one dribble from pretty much anywhere that's scoreable. And I mean that that's roughly like a couple feet behind the three-point line and anywhere else between there to the bucket. He can get there in one dribble. So he's so athletic and long that that push cross is all he needs, because he's basically at the rim within a second after that. And he knows that. So he's efficient in the way he moves. He does not, shake and bake and dance with people all the time, because most of the time all he needs to score is to get that guy to turn his hips, get past him, and dunk it or finish a nice layup. And with that, that's all I have for this video. I think, again, Kevin Durant's style of dribbling is something that is very interesting. It's very unique to him. It's something that I wanted to break down, because there's different types of ways that people play the game of basketball, and that's what makes basketball interesting. If everybody played it the same way, it'd be boring, right? And Kevin Durant plays it in a very unique way, and in a way that other people watching this could potentially emulate based on their body types and based on their skill sets. That's something that I wanted to point out, because I don't want anyone to feel like they have to play one way. I want people to be able to say, hey, I play a little bit like that, a little bit like that, and being able to kind of take an amalgamation of what you've learned and put it into your own game. That's my goal, ultimately. My goal is also to make videos that you guys like. So give a like if you did. If you didn't, I appreciate you guys staying this long. Subscribe. I know it's about 80% of you guys don't subscribe, and I make more stuff like this. So if you want me in your feed without having to search, just subscribe. It's easy. Press a button. And with that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I hope you guys are not too shocked over the Kevin Durant news. I mean, I'm not. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.